Welcome back to the podcast, y'all, where self-improvement is the movement. First podcast episode of 2023. I just want to thank all y'all for heading into 2023 with me here. This is going to be a ride. This is going to be something special to behold as long as y'all are staying with me here and riding the self-improvement wave. Glad to have y'all here. This is the first podcast episode of 2023, first of many podcast episodes of 2023. I can't wait. 2022, it was a great ending to the year. I will say that for sure, because I started the announcement of the podcast, I think, in late October or something like that. And in November or December, I actually dropped my first episode. Have 4 episodes out right now. Y'all can go check them down below in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have the playlist link in the description. If you're listening to this on Spotify, welcome. And you can check out my catalog, there if you click my name and everything. So you can find the previous 4 episodes. It's only going to get better and better. So I want to welcome y'all to episode 5 of the podcast. This is going to be an episode where we talk about 2023 mostly, and how I'm looking at it pretty much. 2022, we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about what I learned in 2022, what I took away from 2022, and then we're going to talk about not my goals necessarily, but things I want to improve on in 2023, things I want to really emphasize in 2023, and talk about, I guess, a little bit of my goals, and I want to give y'all some motivation for 2023 as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to briefly talk about 2022 and the things that I learned, the really big talking points that I learned in 2022. No particular order, but number one, I will say, is patience. 2022 was a big year in terms of patience for me, in terms of me sitting back and realizing that my time's coming for everything. Whether it be career, whether it be social media, me growing this channel and everything like that, me in fitness, me with relationships, everything. The whole perspective changed for me in 2022, and I don't know what it was. I think it was just me maturing a little bit more, getting a little bit older. I'm 22 now, if y'all don't already know, but I think I'm maturing that way to where it's like I'm more patient with shit now, knowing that as long as I'm putting in the work, as long as I'm working on myself, as long as I'm doing the things I need to do every single day and worrying about the things I can control every single day, everything else would take care of itself. And the things I can't control, the things I can't, work on tangibly, I just forget about it because it serves no purpose for me. I can't do anything. I can't change some certain things. I can't do certain things, and that's okay. I'm not going to force the issue with anything. I'm not going to try to go above and beyond, above my limits, because now I know my limits. I know what I'm capable of as a person. It's going to get to my next point in a second, of self-confidence. But self-confidence has helped out a lot with my patience, me being more patient with everything in life. And it's really brought me peace. And peace is different from happiness. Happiness is an emotion. Happiness is temporary. Happiness is something you're feeling in a certain moment in time, right? You're not always going to be happy, damn it. Life throws a lot of bullshit our way, and for us to be happy all the time is just unrealistic. No matter how much we would love to be happy all the time, we should know that it's not realistic. Therefore, we shouldn't be striving for happiness. You get what I'm saying? What we should be striving for is peace. What is peace? You had a bad day, or you're having a bad week, or a bad half of the year, and you're telling yourself, it's going to be okay. We'll be fine. Even if it feels like the whole world around you it's just falling and the sky's falling and everything. You know that everything's gonna be okay. You're not panicking. You're staying the course. I think that's peace right there. You're at peace with yourself. You're at peace with who you are as a person. You're secure within who you're as a You're secure within who you are as a person, and the things you're capable of and the things you can do. Therefore, you get to the point where no matter what happens in your mind, you're like, I'm okay, or I will be okay. You're not gonna panic. You're not gonna feel these crazy, crazy waves of emotion. You're just at peace. You're at peace with yourself. That comes from a lot of working on yourself. But if you can get to that point where you're at peace, happiness is going to come more often. It's not going to always be there, obviously, but it's going to come more often the more peaceful you are within yourself, the more peace you find within yourself. So patience is one thing I really learned this year. Another thing I learned, well, not really learned, but kind of enhanced, is my self-confidence as a person. And that comes along with knowing my self-worth and never changing for any person. Self-confidence with me has always been a big issue, a big topic of discussion for me for a multitude of reasons. I've recently, and I mean recently as in last couple years, recently have been gaining self-confidence within myself as a person, being secure with who I am, insecure with what I'm capable of as a person, and knowing who I am, That didn't come until I was already out of high school and everything. So, like, imagine me, like, no confidence. Like, up until 2020, 2021, really, is when the confidence really starts to kick in. And that's kind of sad, I guess, but everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own experiences, and it's all for a reason. It's all for a reason. Everyone's running their own pace. Everyone's running their own marathon. So I'm not really feeling some type of way about how things went down, but my self-confidence has been something that I've just now kind of started to figure out, and it's something that I'm trying to secure for the long run. And what do I mean by that? Is there's some days I'll feel super self-confident, and then there's other days and even stretches for weeks where I feel down on myself and I'm not as confident within myself. That comes from me just being secure in myself no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what's going on, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter what environment I'm in. I should always be able to be confident. I should always be able to be secure in who I am. That's the point where I want to get to now. And I took a step forward in that in 2022, and I'm trying to solidify it in 2023. Self-confidence and knowing my worth in terms of situations, in terms of like not getting myself in certain situations that I know I shouldn't get myself into, because I know my worth. I know not necessarily what I'm capable of, but I know that in a lot of situations I can and will be the bigger person, whether it be at work, whether it be at school, whatever the case may be, with friends or just people I know, or relationships or potential relationships. I know my worth. So I'm not going to have myself in a situation to where I'm devaluing myself. I'm not giving myself that worth that I deserve. That's another room of improvement that I've made this year. Knowing my worth allows me to never change for a person, especially when it comes to relationships and women and things of that nature. There'll be a girl I start talking to, we're hitting it off and everything's cool. I start finding out more about her, and I'm just like, I've kind of got to that point where it's like, you talking to a girl, and if she says one or two things that rub you the wrong way or two things that you don't really like, it just kind of turns you off completely. And it probably shouldn't be like that, but I guess that's part of maturity. Like, I've kind of gotten to that point where it's like, I don't need to be involving myself with this type of person or having this type of energy around me. I'm big on energy nowadays. So there'll be a girl that I meet and like everything's cool, the attraction's there, the vibe is there. Oh, she goes out and drinks every night or every weekend or whatever the case may be. Or she tells me stories and I'm listening and I like observing. So I like listening more than talking more than anything so I can get to know a person for real. And they'll tell me a situation or story that happened recently with them and I'm just like low key, in my head I'm like I won't say it to him, but in my head I'm like, low key, you was the problem. I'm not gonna lie. And it just kind of throws out red flags out there for me, and it lets me know that I don't need to be involved with myself in that certain situation. So self-worth, knowing my worth, self-confidence, knowing my worth, and never change for a person is another thing that I learned. I'll wrap this up. I promise. We're not gonna dwell on 2022 too long. It was a good year though. The biggest one I want to talk about is learning how to accept my emotions, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. What do I mean by accepting your emotions or embracing your emotions is what I like to say. Fighting a bad experience means you suffer twice from it. What do I mean by that? You go through some shit that is out of your control. You had no control over something that happened. You're dwelling on it. You're stressing about it. You're getting depressed from it. You're putting yourself through that thing twice because it legitimately happened, and then you're doubling down on it by making it worse in your head. And it's something you can't control, so why are you making it worse in your head? Rather than trying to make, it depends, but try to make light of a certain situation or try to get over a certain situation or try to use a situation as a learning experience to grow from. But instead, you're just dwelling on the past. You're dwelling on what happened where it probably wasn't even your fault at all. So why are you tripping? You're suffering twice from what's going on, from the situation at hand. That's a big thing nowadays when it comes to people being overly stressed and overly depressed. You put yourself through the shit twice. We talked about it on episode 4. I talked about it with Tyranny. We talked about it. You're putting yourself through that shit twice. What's the point? What's the point? If you can't do anything about it, what's the point? Literally, let it go. I'll give y'all an example of what I mean by embracing your emotions. I said this in, I think, episode 2. You're not always going to be happy. You're not always going to be feeling good. You're not always going to be at your best. You're not always going to want to do certain things. You're not always going to want to go to the gym. You're not always going to want to go to class. You're not always going to want to clock in at work. Because, damn it, we don't feel like doing that shit all the time. So when at work might have made you mad. One of your homies might have pissed you off. You had a bad day at school. Whatever the case may be, right? At that point, we'll always be chasing the happiness I was just talking about. We're always going to be chasing the good experience, the goodness in life. We're always chasing that as humans. And I get that it's human nature, I guess, because if you talk to someone who's like, embrace your emotions, what the hell? Like, what is he talking about? But if you sit back and think about it, it's like, it's realistic because in life, you're not always going to be happy. You're not always going to feel good. So you have to embrace the bad emotions. You have to embrace being mad sometimes. You have to embrace being stressed sometimes. You got to be able to take that in. You have to be able to take it in and use it as a learning experience. Use it as fuel to the fire to come out and get better, to come out and learn from what just happened, the experience you just went through. but you're trying to fight off the negative emotions. Like I said, you're making everything worse. You're chasing a good experience at that point. And why did I use the word chasing? Because when you're chasing something, you're trying to get to it, but it's running away from you. And it's little words like that I don't like to use in most instances. Cause chase the bag. I don't like that saying. Why? Theoretically, the bag is running away from me, and I'm trying to chase it down. If you say like probably get to the bag or something else along those lines, it makes you think like, okay, the bag's right there. But chase the bag. Oh, it's running away from me. That's why they say, example right here. You know how they say like, never chase a chick. You know why chicks don't like for you to chase them? One, if you have to chase them in the first place, do they really like you? Do they really fuck with you like that? That's number one, obviously. Number two, if you're chasing a girl that don't want you, not only she doesn't want you because of whatever reason, she doesn't think you're attractive, she doesn't think you're him, or whatever the case may be as to the reason why she doesn't like you in the first place. You're giving her more of a reason not to like you, because you're telling her that I lack self-worth, I lack self-respect. She's like, oh, this guy's chasing me. Like, I already told him I don't want him, but he's still chasing me and doing all this. He probably doesn't respect himself. He probably doesn't talk to any other girls. That's what they're probably thinking in their head. So you chasing them actually gives them a reason. You chasing them and trying to convince them to like you is giving them more of a reason not to like you, on top of the reason why they already don't like you in the first place. Now, if you pull back and you're like, okay, I'll go over here, or you turn your mind frame in a different direction, you don't talk to her, you don't see her, blah, 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 or try to talk to her, blah, blah, blah. In some cases, she'll be like, I wonder why he doesn't talk to me no more. Which, it should be obvious. You turn him down, so why would he talk to you? But they're going to think that in their head is like, why doesn't he talk to me no more? Why didn't he say hi at least anymore? Guess what? She'll try to see what's up with you at that point. That's just an example. If you're able to accept a bad experience, if you're able to accept the tough moments in life, one, you'll know how to handle tough moments later on down the road. But two, you're able to use those bad experiences and those tough moments in your life as a learning lesson and as fuel to the fire to get even better as a person. But if you accept the negative experience, it's actually a positive experience, because you're growing, you're learning, you're taking it for what it is. You know how they say the saying, it is what it is? This is legit. Like, have the mindset of it is what it is, and tell me how your life pans out. Now, let's go into 2023. We're going to talk about the things I want to really emphasize and focus on in 2023, the things I really want to improve on. But first, I'm going to drop an ad right here. And make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. It's going to really help me grow this channel, grow this podcast. So if y'all can really show me some love and support, it's going to be much appreciated. So y'all share this out for me. Post this on your story. Post your favorite clip onto your story and tag me, Jimmy1of1, on Instagram. Tag me and I'll reshare it and everything. And we're going to get it popping, man. But let's get into 2023 and the things I want to improve on. Now, in 2023, I'll start off by saying this. No more talking. No more saying I'm going to do this. No more saying I'm going to do that. No more telling your friends your goals. No more telling people what you're going to do. Just do it. No one cares about you saying telling them what you're gonna do. They don't care. What they care about is the results. What they care about is what they see output. What they care about is the output that they're seeing from you. Someone will only respect you if you have the results to show for it. If you have the results, then they will respect you. But if you say you're going to do this, say you're going to do that, and you don't come out with shit, or you don't do nothing, or anything that you said you was going to do, they ain't going to respect you. But if you just shut up, sit back, and do the shit that you need to do without telling nobody, they gonna respect you. And that's a cold way to go about it. So enough putting out that energy of I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, telling people what you're gonna do and telling the world what you're gonna do, but not actually putting in the work to do it. Enough of that, man. Where it's time we actually put in the work. It's time we grow up and actually start doing the shit that we need to be doing. All the shit that we said we was gonna do, where is it at? Let's start doing it. Enough of, what did Drake say? A little less talk and a little more action. That's what he said. Different context, but that's what he said. So stop putting that energy out there that you're telling people that you're going to do this or do that, or plan on doing this, plan on doing that, because then that's more pressure on you to actually go out and do those things. Not because you actually want to do those things, not because you need to do these things in order to grow as a person. It's because you have to do these things now because you told this person you was going to do it 6 months ago and you still haven't done it. That's the reason why you're going to do it. Not because you have to get better, not because it'll improve your lifestyle, not because it'll make you a better person. No, it's because you told this person you was going to do it, and now you feel obligated to do it for them instead of for you. You waste all the energy talking, not enough energy is put into the actual work that you need to do. We're done with that in 2023. Let's stop that in 2023. I saw a post. It said, we got to start going like harder. And I'm not saying like emotionally. I'm saying like we need to really lock in on the things that we need to be doing on a daily basis to get better, to reach your goals, to get where you want to be in life. We have to have that passion about it. You have to have that fire about it. It has to be there. I can't put that into you. You can't call me a motivational speaker or inspirational person or anything like that. I cannot put that within you. You have to have that. You know what when they say, "Oh, he got that dog in him," that meme, that's real shit. Like you either have that dog in you or you don't. It's that simple. You either want it or you don't. It's no in between. It's no maybe I want it. No, because if you maybe want it, that means you don't fully want it. And I can't help you with that. It's got to be all you. It's got to be all you. You got to hold we got to start holding ourselves accountable. We got to start taking responsibility for the shit that happens in our lives, man. Even when it's like, even when we can control it or not, take responsibility, take accountability for shit in your life and do something about it to change it, or do something about it to get better from it. Enough of talking, enough of saying I'm going to do this, saying I'm going to do that, and not doing it. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. So, you know how they say, oh, I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do this in 6 months. Fuck that. Break it down into each week. Break it down into each day. The shit you're going to do to get where you need to get where you want to go. Have that intent. Write the shit down. Have a to-do list. Write it down. Visualize it. Look at it. Manifest it. And put in the work to get there. Put in the work to see those results. Physically. Mentally. Spiritually. Emotionally. Financially. Academically. Career. All these things. It's time to stop with the bullshit. It's time to grow up, y'all. It's time to grow up. Now, the things I want to work on and I will be working on in 2023 is one, my overall focus on tasks and goals, not only academically with school, but with my podcast like this, with YouTube, with my sports page, with advancing my career. I want to bring more focus to my overall tasks in life. And I think I really struggled with this because I'm not gonna lie. Social media has gotten to the point where it has distracted me from a lot of different things. And in some instances, I've gotten better at it, but other times I've relapsed really, and have gotten in a really bad cycle of not really being as focused because I'm just scrolling endlessly on social media, even though it's like posts I really don't really care about, but I'm just scrolling because that satisfaction, that dopamine's there. You know, on Instagram they have like the stories, and it has like the person's picture, profile picture, and then around it it's a purple or pink circle that gets you to click on it. It's like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? The close friends list is green. Oh, what's this? On Snapchat, the box is red. Oh, what's Snap? Like, even you're not even on the app. 12 notifications on Snapchat. Ooh, what's going on? Like that should get you to click on it. And so I'm trying to stay away from social media a little bit more now, unless I'm posting or connecting with other people. I will try to find a way to cut out the fat, so to speak, cut out the extra BS in terms of me being on social media, just scrolling endlessly. I'll come up with a technique or a game plan for it. The screen time shit, I tried it. It doesn't really work for me. So I'll try to figure something out that'll work for me to make me more disciplined in that way. And I heard about the Pomodoro technique. And this is something I do whenever I like read or something, or have to really get an essay done for school. It's like, if you're having a short attention span like me, which 95% of youngins nowadays have a short attention span because social media, the Pomodoro technique allows you to work in spurts, because probably back then, before social media was invented, kids could sit down and focus on writing a paper 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight, an hour straight, even 30 minutes straight. But nowadays it's like we get to a point where we get so restless, no matter if we're like making actual progress on the essay or whatever, or if we're reading a book and it's actually a good book, we will try to find a way to get out of that, because our mind just gets bored with it, because we're just so programmed to not stay on one thing. You know what I mean? We're so programmed to, oh, TikTok, oh, Instagram, oh, Snapchat. It's called TikTok for a reason. Short attention span. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. By the time you get to 10, 15 seconds, you already scrolled past 10 different TikTok videos. So Instagram. It just reminds me, instant gratification. That all it reminds me of. And Snapchat, like quick, like our attention spans, quick. Like that's how I think of like apps like that. And I'm not saying I'm not going to be on those apps, but I'll try to be less on it less often. Now, I feel like I'm talking really fast. Let me slow down a little bit. So the Pomodoro technique, I'm just not getting to it. It's something to where it's like you work on the essay for 30 minutes. You give yourself a 5-minute break. You hop on it back for 30 minutes. You give yourself another 5-second break. That's what has really worked for me when it comes to like schoolwork, when it comes to me reading books, when it comes to me just getting videos and content out there, working on content, is working on it for a shorter period of time and then taking a break. Coming back to it for a shorter period of time, taking a break. I think you can kind of measure it to whatever fits you, but try to challenge yourself, of course. Don't be like, oh, 5 minutes of write an essay, 5 minutes of rest. Like, no, you don't want to do that. Or even 10 minutes. You want to be like, okay, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to write as much as I can on this paper. Obviously, you're not going to rush yourself, but you're going to do as much as you can in 30 minutes. And then for the 5 minute break, I'll just chill, scroll through Instagram, check my text messages, shit like that. And then I'm going to be disciplined, right? As that 5 minute mark hits on my phone, set the clock on your phone for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is up. Okay. Click it, put it back to 30 minutes. You back on the 30-minute working on the essay. And then 30 minutes is up. Okay, cool. I'll do whatever, talk to friends or whatever for 5 minutes. You can kind of balance it out however you want. 30 and 5 or 30 and 10, or if you think you can go longer, do an hour and 30 or an hour and 15 or whatever works for you. Just try it out and let me know how it works out for you, because I think it'll help out a lot of people in today's generation, but they just don't know about it. It's from the book Get More Done in Less Time. It's a digital book that I read. I want to be more organized with my thoughts and my goals. So I haven't wrote down my goals for 2023 yet, just because I don't want to rush it, and I want to make sure they are goals that I can really, really achieve by putting in a certain amount of work in. In 2022, I was looking back on my goals, and I'll be frank with you, I didn't hit too many of them, which I'm fine with. That just lets me know the things I need to improve on, which is over organizing my goals. Organizing my goals helps me not only create more realistic goals for myself, but it also helps me with creating goals that are more oriented to are more fair to me in terms of the goals I can control. Like I mentioned earlier, you can have a goal of, I want to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You can have that. That's cool. But the goal you should really focus on is, okay, I'm gonna drop a video every single day to try to get to that 100K by the end of the year. You can't control the people actually subscribing to you necessarily. You can't tell people to click the button. You can't tell 100,000 people to click the button. You can tell a couple, but not 100,000. But you can't control that. You can control, I'm going to post every single day. Or I'm going to post 4, 5, 6 days a week. Or I'm going to make sure I promote my page every week. Or make certain amount of posts a week on Instagram or whatever. You can control those things. But the numerical shit, you can't control. Like shit like that, you can't control. So it's kind of stuff like that I want to work on. And physically, I want to be more organized too in terms of like my stuff, my desk at home, my schoolwork, my car, even my backpack. I want to make everything more organized, because the more cluttered your mind is, the more cluttered the space around you is, the more cluttered your mind will end up being. And that's the true shit. That's why it's like, okay, you got to clean your room. When you feel like your mind is cluttered, or you're thinking about so much stuff, or you're overthinking about a lot of things, maybe this is not the only reason. That's fine, but clean your room. Maybe it's dirty. Maybe pick up the clothes on your floor. Make your bed. Clear up your counter, your dresser. Maybe that can help ease your mind a little bit, help you out a little bit. So physically is also something I want to work on with in terms of organization. And this is the next thing that I want to improve on in 2023, is staying grounded on things that fuel me, but focus more on the task at hand rather than trying to prove other people right. And that's where it comes back down to discipline over motivation. I've done a good job with that, but there's another level I can take, because it will get to a point where I can be only so disciplined, and then I'll regress in a certain habit I'm trying to get better at, and I go into a rabbit hole, and there's a snowball effect that keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I find that because I'll try to take over with motivation, and then, like I say, you're only motivated for so long. before you feel some type of way, or you're not feeling it, and that's where the snowball effect happens. You're not able to rely on motivation. You just can't. So staying grounded and being more disciplined with the things that I'm doing on a daily basis is gonna get me to where I need to be. And I can't focus on proving other people right either. I gotta focus on. I mean, I can't focus on proving other people wrong. I have to focus on proving myself right and letting myself know that in certain situations, I'm him or I'm that guy, or you're telling yourself that you know what you're capable of and you're confident in that, instead of trying to prove a other motherfucker wrong who essentially doesn't care about you because they're not really trying to help you out. So staying grounded emotionally is another thing I'll be working on this year. Vulnerability in relationships, like I mentioned, is something I'll be working on also this year. I've gotten to the point where, and I'm good at self-awareness. I'm good at looking myself in the mirror and figuring out the things that I can do better, the things I can improve on, and why certain shit didn't work out for whatever reason. And one thing that I kind of picked up on during my self-analysis, I guess, is that it's still hard for me to be vulnerable in it's still hard for me to be vulnerable, period, with people in general. That's, I guess, cool because I like staying to myself and I'm introverted, and I have the mindset that, oh, people don't really care about what I went through or how I'm feeling, or stuff like that, which is sometimes good because you don't have to worry about shit, but it's also sometimes really, really toxic because maybe someone actually does care about what you went through or where your mindset's at, or there'll be a time where you get lonely and it's like you want to tell someone how you're feeling. You want to express your emotions to someone, but you can't because it's so hard for you to open up at that point. So I'm trying to get better at being vulnerable, especially like in relationships and talking stages and things like that. It's going to be a hard hurdle to overcome, but I think I'm already slowly kind of getting better at it, and I'm approaching that hurdle right now as we speak. So I think that's a really, really important thing for me moving forward in 2023. Like I said, I think in the tyranny episode 4, maybe episode 3, being vulnerable makes your relationships with people stronger because you're able to express your emotions. You're able to open up to someone in a way you're really not able to open up to most people. And once someone has like a certain insight about you, once someone knows more deeper inside of you rather than surface level shit or, arbitrary shit that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If they know more about who you are, what you went through, what's your story, how'd you get to this point, what's your mindset at right now, like if people know more about that, like I feel like that's shit is more delicate for people to know, which is part of why it's hard to open up because it's so delicate information. But at the same time, once you express that delicate information, people can use that to make a bond stronger. You can use that to make your relationship with friends stronger, with coworkers stronger, with family stronger, with relationships stronger. So being more vulnerable is there's a lot of good things that comes from being vulnerable, and I really figured that out. But like I said, it's always hard to be vulnerable. It's not only me, I know that, but it's just so hard because it's just how you grow up. It's like you're just not used to opening up and being vulnerable and expressing how you feel and your emotions, things like that. So it's something that I'm working on and we'll get there. So like I said with y'all when I first started talking about 2023, no talking, just do it. And I'm not talking Nike because I'm wearing Gymshark right now. But in all seriousness, no more talking about the shit that you're going to do or what you're planning on doing, because you're throwing that negative. It's not even negative energy. You're throwing energy out there for people to turn it negative and use it against you. Not only that, it can be negative because, like I said, that's more pressure on you to actually get that shit done. Not because you actually want to get it done to be a better person, to improve, to hit that goal, but for this person. that you told them, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. You have that in the back of your mind. It might be subconscious. You're probably not even thinking about it, but that's a real thing. So I try to keep all my goals and everything to myself. That's why I haven't really told y'all my goals. I just told y'all things I want to improve on. I'm not going into specifics on my actual goals for 2023. Y'all would just see when shit unfolds. Like, oh, that's what he was doing. That's what he was shooting for. Y'all will find out sooner or later. That's going to wrap up this episode, y'all, of 2023, the things I want to improve on, and talking about 2022 and what I learned in 2022. So with that being said, I mean, y'all can tell me what y'all really learned in 2022. Tell me what y'all want to improve on in 2023. Don't tell me your goals, because that stuff you can keep in house. I don't want to know your goals, but if y'all let me know what y'all let me know what topics I should make an episode about, and I will. I'll be taking suggestions this year of topics of discussion, self-improvement wise. If you have any mental health issues, or you're kind of stressed about something, or feeling some type of way about a certain situation, talk to me. I can make an in-depth podcast episode about it. Or if you're just interested in where my mind is at on a certain topic, just let me know, and I can talk about it in more detail, so y'all can kind of get more insight about me. This is just I made this podcast just to kind of talk about my journey and help other people along their journey as well. That's all this podcast is for, literally. So it's not for views, it's not for attention, it's not for anything else, but to just kind of talk about life as it unfolds, because I think it's really interesting. So I think it's really good to talk about these things. It's really good to talk about the things I talk about: self-improvement, mental health, relationships between men and women in a positive way, fitness, just dynamics between human beings, damn it, and stuff like that. So y'all let me know what y'all want me to talk about, and I can talk about it in the episode or whatnot. But with that being said, y'all know how I always end this thing off, man. Y'all might as well say it with me at this point. But be different. Be a one of one. I'm out. Peace.